We will be going. Cool. Good stuff. So, welcome everybody to LinkedIn for Breakfast. Fantastic to see you here. Fantastic to see so many of you here. Just been saying to people that we're going to be talking about automation today. I've got a swipe file for you with my exact campaigns that you guys can drag, drop, use. We're going to be talking about tools that you could be potentially using. And we're building upon last week's session, which we talked about Sales Navigator as well, which I can show you how to get hold of the replay if you didn't see that. Wonderful to see so many of you. Let's just kind of give you a flavor for what we do here and why we do this. So let me jump onto me slide. Are we seeing the LinkedIn for Breakfast logo? Give me a thumbs up. Good stuff. All right. We're in the right place. If I can get it working. So our mission here at LinkedIn for Breakfast is to make this just to basically help you to unleash the power of LinkedIn for two things, really. One, brand expansion. So that's how do you get your name or your company's names out there? How do you help the reach of your business? And the second thing's around business development, the thing that gets your phone ringing and inbox pinging with hot new inquiries. And that's very much what we're going to be talking about today, that actual business development side and how we can actually automate a bit of that. Ultimately, our goal is to make this the best free place on earth to learn LinkedIn for free, my favorite number. So that's our mantra, and we hope that you can join us in that mission of enjoying this and actually taking this forward and getting value from it and then telling others about it. Cool. We got this cool group. We're just under 2,500 members, which we thank you all for sharing and inviting people along to it. In here, you will find, and I think Flora's going to probably chuck the link to that if you're not in here. I'm going to be sharing this swipe file that I talked about earlier in there. The replay of the session's in here. The Sales Navigator Masterclass that you can see here linked up at the top of this slide here, we did last week. And just so you can know, we've got in here, I'm just going to, hello, that's the stream. Let's just jump into here. If you're looking for any of our replays, you go into the classroom and we've got the replays in here, which is all our sessions, but actually we pin out some of the core sessions like this into little courses. And one of them is Sales Navigator in here. So you can actually jump into there and watch the replay, which will help you because that's where we're going to be starting. Well, we'll be referencing it a little bit in today's session. Cool. Right, so let's just jump back into here. Just a quick one. Who the blooming heck am I? Look, I run and grew a $1 million or a million revenue agency, 28 staff, and ultimately sold it to a business that floated on the NASDAQ. And I did the same with a boiler servicing business, again, scaled that and then sold that. But I'm probably most known for being fired by Lord Sugar on The Apprentice in 2015. So I can't quite get rid of that. But it's also a fun little thing. So that's what I do. I love the marketing side. I love the mission. And what I do now is a business called $1 Million Sprint. I help people to get to $1 million revenue and either continue growing or sell their business. So that's what I do. But LinkedIn for Breakfast is all about helping you to do LinkedIn. There is no sales pitch. So don't worry. Good. So automated outreach of LinkedIn is agenda part one. And then part two is like a Q&A style. We like to get people's other opinions and roundtable some discussions around it. And as mentioned, we've got our entire outreach campaign as template slides that you can get hold of. And just to show you this, because I'll be referencing it, when you go into our group here, we've pinned it to the top of the LinkedIn Automations and Richard's campaign swipe files attached. Click on it here, and you can go and grab that PDF. You can just download it here, and it's got all of our campaign that we're going to be referencing today. Cool. So I think that's enough kind of getting us to the start line. So what do we mean by an outreach campaign? And when I do clever stuff, it kind of starts to look a little bit like this, where we do clever slides and designs of this. But let me just draw it out for you so we actually know what we're talking about here. So let me bring my blackboard of truth and justice here and draw out what we're trying to achieve from LinkedIn. So remember, gang, we talk about this a lot. We want to try and get people from awareness to consider to convert to deliver, right? This is a classic funnel, and it's super important. And when you're thinking about it from a LinkedIn perspective, we need to make sure that we're trying to find and making aware the right type of audience. This is why we need to do a search and we need to know who we're trying to target. Okay. So the beauty of this is that you can do this in a basic search on LinkedIn and you can find your target niche, or you can go for a Ninja Sales Navigator search and really get down to the details of the target revenue of the business you're trying to go for, the head count of the business you're trying to go for, or if it's B2C, maybe it's the type of groups that they're congregating in. You can do all these searches. You can find these people, geographic, job titles, seniority level, departments they work in. You can even search on which software they're using if you're trying to pitch to them to be able to replace different software. There's loads that you can unpick there. So just trust me or watch the Sales Navigator campaign session after this. You can get into a really lovely list of the right type of people to go for. Now, if you know that you've got a list of people, then we can start to try and connect with them. And when we connect with them, we can send a series of messages out to them. Now, a lot of people will just kind of jump straight to the point and go, hey, let's jump into a sales meeting. And these messages will go, hey, great to connect with you. Would you buy my stuff? Okay. And so we've all had those. Look, you throw enough of that at the wall, sometimes stuff sticks and you do get sales off the back of it. That's kind of the problem. It means that people start to get hooked up and just do that. Actually, there's a far better, more effective, more classy way of doing this. And we call this the consideration activity. We want to try and get people into something where they go from being aware that you are a business coach that can help them with X, Y, and Z to considering, are you actually a good person, good coach? Do you know I like what you're talking about? Am I actually interested in what you're saying? It's not like, do I want to buy your stuff? But am I interested in your conversation, the type of thought leadership you're putting out? And that's where we talk about running, say, events. That's why we talk about having a podcast or having some sort of long form video, but something that you put out every week. We call it your weekly moment. And if you can gravitate this awareness towards a consideration asset you're putting out each week, then that becomes the focal point. It becomes the thing that you can build and get people to, and you can start to build community around this. You can start to build goodwill around this, and it becomes the magnet for your marketing. And then at the right time, people can jump onto not a sales meeting, but somewhere where you can add more value, but on a one-to-one point of view. And then if it's right, then of course they can go and buy from you happy days. But doing this piece first, this is the piece that everybody misses out on because they think, oh, I'd love to have a podcast one day, or, you know, I really should do some YouTube, or, you know, I should get my newsletter going. It's so important to have at least one of those things, you know, an event like this, whatever it is, have something to gravitate people towards because it aligns your entire marketing. And let me then show you, not only can it align your marketing, it also helps you to show up in the best way creatively each week. Because if you like your subject and you like giving thought leadership, then, you know, you might love doing a podcast or love doing an event, whatever it is, that becomes your thing. And the rest of this can be automated because we can get this search perfect. We can put it into a campaign that does the connection request automatically. Say we're doing 20 per day. We can then get messaging sequences that can send out automatically. And we can start to do email campaigns that automatically can send out to that same list automatically. And so if that's the case, then we've got a wonderful place where we are building leads and building people into our community automatically. So that's what I'm going to show you today. And just let you know that we have a process that we talk about in $1 Million Sprint called TNAD. Okay. I'm not very creative. You know, people have these lovely like acronyms or whatever that say like bliss and it stands for something or whatever. I'm dyslexic, so I just called it TNAD because that was the start of everything, right? So there is nothing clever about this, but it stands for try it, nail it, automate it. I'm just going to put auto and then delegate it, right? Try it, nail it, automate it, delegate it. So the whole point of what we try and do whenever we bring in automation into our business is you want to try this manually first. Start sending some of the stuff that I'm showing you manually, get a feel for what I'm showing you. Then when people start to respond And like what you're saying, then you can automate it to get that system working without you. And then finally, you delegate it by putting someone in who manages the automation for you. And then boom, you're out that whole process. You've completely delegated it. Why should you not just delegate this before you try and nail it and automate it? Well, you might have a system that's wrong. So you can have someone just doing something for you that's not ever going to work in the first place. It's doomed to fail. Why should you always automate before you delegate? Well, there's so many things that humans could find themselves just doing that's repetitive tasks that easily could be automated, and therefore the cost saving and the efficiency saving will be found through doing that. And the best person to automate is you, because if you delegate and ask them to automate, you're asking them to basically fire themselves from tasks. So they're not going to be incentivized to automate, potentially, if you're using I don't know, third-party people to be able to do this for you. So you are the best person to try this stuff first, nail it, get the automation working, nail that, then give someone that role, and then you leave someone behind managing it for you, then just reporting. Cool. Okay, so a little bit of insight in there. I've teed it up enough. So the campaign that we do, and I'm going to show you how we automate this in. So this is the kind of campaign that we do, and this is the swipe file that I'm sharing with you. Is super simple, right? Is if you are trying to then mimic human behavior through an automation software, which I'll show you, then you got to think about, well, actually, what would human behavior look like? So we would want to view someone's profile page, wouldn't we? We then might want to send them a connection request, right? So such as this, hi, John, just a friendly coach to coach. Hello. How are things in this crazy upside down world? Why do I send this as my first connection request? It's because I'm referencing that they're coaches. So for example, this is a campaign where I'm trying to target coaches. I'm referencing that they're a coach. I'm saying hello. I'm not trying to sell anything. I'm not connecting and pitching. I'm just saying how things in this crazy upside down world. Why do I say crazy and upside down? Because that helps to create a response. People are like, oh, yeah, it is crazy. Yeah, and then the conversation can start. I'm just trying to create conversation. I'm non-threatening. I'm saying hello, right? Then I'm going to wait 3 days. I'm going to go back and view their profile page. I'm going to like their last 3 posts. All of this can be automated. And then going to send them another message that says, hey, we recently launched an exciting free community where we talk about all this kind of stuff at LinkedIn for Breakfast. And then here's the link, right? I'd love you to be part of it, right? So I'm not trying to sell them something. I'm just saying, here's some free stuff. Then I'm going to wait 14 days. I'm going to view their profile again. I'm going to then just ask them a question. So we kind of do question, call to action, question, call to action, question, right? That's it. And so the question would be, hey, I just thought I'd check in. What big project are you working on this quarter? Just checking in. It's always relevant. Doesn't matter if I'm remember, I'm putting this into an automation. Doesn't matter if I send this in January or if I send this in the height of summer in August. What you're working on this quarter is always relevant. And the idea is that it gets them talking. Then I'm going to wait 28 days if I still haven't had a response. Okay. Go then view their profile, like their last 3 posts, because hopefully they would have had some different posts by then. And then I'm going to say, hey, I've got a replay of a session that I did. Everyone's raising about it. Would you like the link? So I'm not just sending them a link. I'm asking the question, would they want the link? Call to action. And then the final thing here, I'm going to wait another 28 days. This whole sequence goes out over 2.5 months. I'm going to view their profile page again. And then I'm going to say, I'm generally interested in connecting further. Would you say LinkedIn is not the place to do so? The lack of response above shows that perhaps not, lol, right? So what we're doing is a bit tongue in cheek to say, hey, I really do want to talk to you, but maybe this isn't the right place to do it. Is there a better place? And that still gets some great responses because you're just kind of pattern interrupting. You're breaking up with them. It's what we call the semi-breakup. And they're saying yes. Hopefully they'll say yes, it is in place. So that's the format. And you've seen the kind of strategy here in terms of what we're looking at. So the platform. Here's Leadeth. Now, Leadeth is a great tool. We've been using it for a while. There are other tools out there. This is the one that we use. If you want to book a demo with them, you just go to leadeth.io. Mention that you've been to LinkedIn for Breakfast, that you know Richard. Alex there will give you a nice discount usually, which is nice by you mentioning us. He's a great guy, UK-based company, so well worth looking at. But there's loads out there, so you use whichever ones you want to use. When you start to get into this, you can build out campaigns that look like this. So I'm going to actually start to build a campaign out for you, right? So this is the exact campaign that I showed you here. And if I just go into edit, you can see here I've added a load of searches, which we'll come back to in a second. And then I've got this series of steps. So look, connection request with that. Then wait 3 days, like 3 posts, then send the next message in the sequence, view the profile again. So can you see I've just built all of that I just put in that swipe file into a nice simple sequence like this. And if you go add step, you can do all of these different things, such as if you wanted to send an SMS, you can enrich their profile, which is if you I'll show you in a second, you can actually do an email marketing campaign that aligns to this as well. So if you don't have their email data, it can actually automatically try and search for that email from a record that it has access to and try and find that email. You can send in-mails in this. You can push it to a CRM. You can send emails, as I said. There's a number of different things, such as perform action, for example. So it could be like last 3 posts, could be endorse the top 5 skills, could be follow profile, right? And view the page. So there's a number of different things that you can actually do in terms of action steps, right? There's a few things I can just, I should probably just delete that. Otherwise I'm going to, oh, how do I bloody delete it? Classic. Oh, here we go. Perfect. Delete that. There's a few other things that we can do, such as send a message out, and just add messages. So it's not really difficult. And also the beauty is that we can start to use AI. So it's got inbuilt AI, and we can start to say, hey, message professional tone. And you can start to use these clever links. So, hello, I trust the weather is pleasant in, and then that hooks up with their location. Looking forward to connecting with you soon, right? So there's loads of different cool things you can do in here. So you would then, let's just get rid of that as well. Otherwise my campaign's gonna look good. So you build out this sequence like this, and then you want to sign it off, make sure you're happy with it. And then you want to add a search, and add a search gives you a number of cool things here, right? So you can add different types of searches. One of those searches is a Sales Navigator search. And so as we mentioned yesterday, or sorry, last Wednesday, Sales Navigator allows you to do some pretty ninja searches, which you can save. So once you're into Sales Navigator, you might have some save searches, and I'll show you how easy it is to put this into the platform. You go to save searches, say this is, I'm just going to go and view this one. This is one of the save searches that we did. And here it is. It's got all these different results, all these different criteria in here. But then once I'm happy with it, I just get this URL at the top, the actual website address. I just press copy. I go over to my lead, and I just paste it in there. That's it. And then I click add search. It's going to add those 6,000 people to the search, right? Or actually it can only add 2,500 at one time, but regardless, it adds all those that I've searched for, or 2,500 of the ones I've searched for, straight into the campaign. And because LinkedIn only allows you to do 100 connection requests a week to stay safe, which we always recommend, you can ease it out a little bit if you've got Sales Navigator. But in reality, I think you should all try and stay to 100 a day, 100 a week, that's 20 a day. Try and stay to that. You just put 2,500 in there. That's bloody ages that you're going to be doing this campaign for. So you just have a lovely track. So we just put all these different campaigns in. We got loads of people in this campaign, and it just like a train go down the track, just rolling out the connection request, rolling out the messages, right? So really, really easy to put it into it. But there's some other cool searches, right? So I can actually scrape the names of all the people that have gone to different events. So if I go, say there's an influencer in my audience, in my industry, that is talking to the type of people that I would love to come to my stuff, I can just go and attend their event, or say that I'm attending their event on LinkedIn. And then it allows me then to paste that event URL. So there might be 1,000, 2,000 people that say they're going to that event into here. It will scrape all those people that say they're attending to that event, and I can go and message them to then invite them to a similar event. So that's pretty cool. If there's someone who's put a post out there, maybe it's one of my posts that's gone viral, or it could be someone else's post that's done particularly well, that is aimed at the right target audience that I would like to target. I can put that post URL from LinkedIn into there, and it will scrape all the people that have liked and commented on that post, and I can go and target those. Pretty ninja, right? Love it. The group, I can go and hit people up who's in a group and go to that, right? There's loads in here. There's recruiter stuff in here, or the one that I really like is you can upload a CSV. So if you feel that you could get a CSV of your CRM and you can upload it and try and connect a message to them. Or if you're not trying to actually, you don't have to run a connector campaign either, gang. So you can just run a campaign that just sends messages, direct messages to people who are your first degree connections. So you could upload a thing that's all your clients and have a separate campaign just for your clients. Maybe you're trying to upsell them to something else, or maybe you're making them aware of a special event that you're running, or maybe you just want to drip feed out some content to them on LinkedIn. You can then start a DM campaign. Or if you've got a CRM or prospects, you could upload that and do a DM campaign to them, if they're already connected with you. It's really nice to be able to work this type of flow. Or say you do one of these things. So I've go and speak at a few events, and normally when I speak at these events, sometimes the deal is that I get the list of attendees of that event as part of my speaker gig, right? And so they say, great. So they give me a CSV. So what do I do with that CSV? Whack it up into here, run a campaign that connects with them and messages them on LinkedIn, as well as an email campaign saying, hey, how's things, right? It's really, really cool. Works really well, really ninja. So let me show you what happens when they start actually replying. They go into the inbox. Now, here's the thing that works really well. So the automation piece is going to be like the train. It's going to chug along. It's going to build out actual opportunity. Yeah, opportunity for you. But the problem is with opportunity is you get quite a lot of it. And then you've got to actually reply to all these leads and talk to them and progress them further, because there's only so much automation can get you to before you actually have to have a human conversation, right? The automation will open up potential, but you've got to close the potential into sales meetings or event attendees, right? So this is where you can then start to use the delegation piece. So for example, I'm just going to show you this one. Don, if you're in this audience or watching this, I do apologize. I'm demonstrating a conversation that we're having. So here's a message that I go out. Hi, Don, just a friendly coach, hello. How are things in this crazy upside down world? And then he will say, hi, Rich, thanks for connecting. All good. Consistently seems to be learning and adapting, which is fun. How are you getting on, right? So classic, like, I'm good. How are you? So now I can do two things. One, there's this little tool here that tells me I can do an automation, and it will do an AI generation, right? So I can then go to book a meeting, right? And it will say create a special response. And so now it's automatically through AI just created a response for me that has the objective of booking a meeting. Hi, Don, glad you're enjoying the process. I'm doing well, thanks. I'd love to discuss how we can leverage your leadership experience in a new project. Are you available for a quick chat this week? Boom, right? Or I can go add a joke, right? God knows what this is going to be like. Hi, Don, glad you're enjoying the ride. I'm doing well, just trying to tackle each day like a scrum. Speaking of which, what's a rugby player's favorite tea? Scrum tea? God knows. I don't even know if that's a good joke. Scrum tea? Oh, I don't know. Scrum tea. Oh, okay. Jesus, that needs to be put in a cracker and never seen again. Right. So it's fun. Look, you can do it as a professional tone as well. And there. So there's some AI stuff. And what I always say with this AI is it gets you part of the way there so you can play with it. But we don't use any of that because I don't like leaving that up to someone else to decide on how I would respond. I want to know exactly how I would respond. So when I've tried it and nailed this, I've been doing these responses. And as I've been doing these responses, I've created a list of saved replies in here. And these saved replies are replies to, you can see here, reply to, I'm good, how are you? Or reply to, yes, a crazy world, right? So for example, I've got this here. I pre-created it. I can put it in here. I can put all these different like special kind of things to automatically put their first name, etc. in. And I basically can now, or my team will now go in and reply and manage this for me on my behalf. Flora will go in this and do this, and she'll just click on this, and then this creates the exact response that I have signed off that I want when someone says, I'm good, how are you? Which is basically the tone of this conversation. So it says, I'm doing fantastically well. The first half of 2024 was great. I'm eager to dedicate some time this quarter to introduce some exciting incentives, such as launching a podcast. What's your plan for the second half of 2024? Perfect response, gives a little bit of me, ask them for something. Can you see how this is perfect for delegating, how you can respond, and also having a little bit of a obvious route to make this happen? Cool. Then we might have other responses that we can put in. So there's loads of different responses, loads of different ways that you would spend. So if someone says, yes, it is a crazy world, how are you? And I've got another response in here. So now I've got all these preset responses that my team can then use. And so the only ones that I ever worry about or get talked about is the ones where there isn't an actual response, or there's more of a bespoke response that's needed. And then Flora will just WhatsApp me with the link to that person and say, this person needs an actual response. So you can see how that works. Cool. So that's how we can manage the inbox. And look, guys, there is a campaign in here where we can actually do cold email marketing as well. So we can upload a database and we can do some more clever stuff with cold email as well. So not only are you doing LinkedIn, but you're using those LinkedIn profiles to send a series of emails. And if they get opened, you can send other emails. If links are clicked, you can send other emails. And you can work through and enrich profiles as well. So not only am I hitting people up to invite them to the events, and I'm not, everybody gets these cold emails saying, hey, do you want to have a meeting about buying my stuff? My emails go, hey, I would love you to come and have some free stuff. And it has a massive difference. Same with the LinkedIn outreach. So super important. So what we want to show you here is this stuff is really good. It helps you to align to this objective of drawing people back into your consideration item, drawing people back into this game plan, wherever I put it. God, I must have moved it miles away. But perfect, good stuff. Drawing people out into this campaign, getting people into your event or your podcast or whatever it is. You automatically get these big data sets. You push them through an email marketing messaging sequence. You get, therefore, people coming to your events or coming to your podcast. You get more connections and you get more conversations. And then you also then build your sales meetings. So that, my friends, is the game plan. Now I'll get some questions in a second, but before I do, many people are unsure on what their weekly moment should be. Many people are unsure on actually how this messaging sequence could work for them, and also want to know what would be the right type of campaign. So I love meeting with people and helping them to answer those questions. And I'm happy to open up my diary for people. And I do it through a LinkedIn profile audit. So I actually audit your profile, your LinkedIn profile, step by step, looking at exactly how you've set it up. And then from there, we look at actually how these campaigns could really work for you, your audience, and actually, should you have Sales Navigator? Should you use automation, or should you just be trying the basic manual stuff, and how does that work? All of those questions I can answer in a one-to-one, totally for free as part of what we do. But I don't have many spaces. And there's many people here that have been on those calls who I'm sure will back up the fact that there is a load of value in here. And I was looking at the diary, and honestly, I was trying to make more space before this call, but I think I've got one space on Wednesday next week. I've got nothing this week, and I've got a few more spaces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 6 spaces in there. There's 3 pages of us here. So if you're a business owner, because this would only really be relevant if you're a business owner, because I help you to get more clients. That's the whole point of what this meeting does. That link's going into the chat now. Now, I'll thank you, Michelle, for your kind comment. So that's going into the chat now. Now, in this, please book this. If you're a business owner looking to grow these things, and you've got an ongoing concern that you want to talk to me about. If you miss out on those slots, do let us know, and we'll try and find another one for you. But as I say, my diary's rammed, and they are there. So jump on those quickly if you want to go through exactly your campaign and exactly what you should be doing. So it's in the chat now. Cool. Andy, so first question from Andy. He asked, where can he find the swipe file? So onto the LinkedIn for Breakfast school group in here. And at the top, you got this thing here and Richard's campaign swipe file. And this, click on it, and then you can find the PDF here. And then that's got the campaign swipe file for you, right? So let me just stick that in the chat, or stick the group in the chat. If you are trying to get into that and you haven't been accepted into the group yet, we will accept you, obviously, into the group. We're just going to catch up on that for it. Cool. Okay. So questions now, guys. So questions over what you've seen and thoughts around it. Into the room.
Richard.
Hello.
Hi.
Mate.
There's been a lot of chat in the chat box there, and some of it I tend to agree with in terms of all this whole process not being personal. What would be your comment on that? Me personally, I'd pick up the phone. If someone, does want to have a call and that, I'd just pick them up and say, hi, how you doing? Saw your message on LinkedIn, etc. But I would rather have that sort of process and the phone ringing saying, I want to do business with you, rather than chase for 3 or 4 months manually. So I see the whole process there, but what would you do to make it more personal?
Yeah, exactly. So I think, first of all, I would really look at this and go, actually, does it feel impersonal, right? So if I was to connect with you and go, hey, John, just a friendly coach, hello, how's things in this crazy world? And you come back and go, yeah, life's a bit crazy, but doing this and this. And I go, yeah, I know, life is crazy. We're doing this, and this, and you're doing that. The templates that I put in are based upon real life personalized conversations, because I tried it and I nailed it first. And then I've added those in. So that's where it becomes super important to have kind of done a bit of this DMing before you just drag and drop, to sort of set templates into it. So that would be the first point to that. The second point to this is, at the same time, remember there's the front side of LinkedIn. So this is in the DMs. But when you're on the front side, thinking about actually, well, how am I connected? How am I interacting with people that I just connect with? So am I commenting on their content? Am I kind of sharing stuff? Am I being a thought leader? And I would argue that the automated sequence, because if someone doesn't respond to that hello one, then the next one is a call to action, invites them into the group. It's just a series of like, hey, checking in, asking questions. Remember the third one, the sequence is like, how's things? Just thought I'd check in, circling back. It's exactly what I would say if I wanted to genuinely talk to someone who's not talking back to me. And so just have that approach when you build out the sequence. So that's the kind of like, how would I approach personalization? Then the marketer lead generator part of me goes, yeah, but I'm sending out 100 a week and I'm at massive rhythm and I'm not doing it. So I'm happy to have a little bit of less personalization for the fact that I'm getting big volume, I'm getting clients, and that's helping me to grow my business. I'm a realist. I'm running ads and paying for reach there. So this is me paying for automation because it gives me the same sort of lead generation funnel as ads. And when I'm closing deals off the back of it, I feel all right about that because I've tried to make it as personalized as possible. It can't be everywhere, like we've got over 130 clients and 50 odd staff that we've got in the business. Like it's busy, right? So
the flip side of that is as well, if you've got that sort of volume and you're not following up and you're missing that starts of conversations, the automation helps just push that relationship along, in my opinion.
I think that's a huge point, actually, because there's so much of us who try and go, right, this week I'm going to spend an hour a day on LinkedIn. I'm going to do stuff. And then next week you get a couple of days and then you forget about it. So all of those conversations you opened up, you leave and they're just gathering digital dust, doing nothing, affecting your brand that way. Whereas at least this way, you'll have an inbox that will tell you, this is the lead-if inbox, there's 11 open conversations that we've got to deal with here. It tells us how many are there. LinkedIn itself doesn't even give you a number like that. And so therefore we can just make sure we clear this down every day to go to zero every day, which means no one gets left behind. Every conversation's relevant. And so then that just becomes a trust piece. So I trust Flora to communicate as me, and also to talk to me when there is something that she can't handle, to make sure that we handle it. Cool. No, no worries. Thanks, John. Great question. Fatima has a question. I offer my clients a free strategy call in DM outreach. My next step is to get them to book a call with me. Some of them ask me to give them the solution and prices over text, and they don't want to get on a call. How do I respond to this objection? I think the point, Fatima, is if you're jumping straight in and people are saying, well, actually, what's your prices and stuff, you're probably not, they haven't gone through the consideration piece, and you're trying to basically sell them on the idea of having a meeting with you, so you can sell them something. Whereas actually, if you go and connect with people, bring them into a consideration event, open up the door to actually have more of a, so you're saying a free strategy call. The problem is with a strategy call is everybody kind of knows it's like a sales call. Whereas actually, if you're helping them to be able to do something, maybe it's a planning session, maybe it's a goal setting session, maybe it's a whatever it is, it feels of value, then actually they're not going to say, well, how much is the thing going to cost that you're going to sell to me? You're talking about, well, what's the value that you're going to be offering? You say, no, don't worry. You know, if you want to know at the end, I'm more than happy to walk you through what I do. But the whole point of this session is to be able to help you to be able to do X, Y, and Z. And so if they're asking prices, you have not delivered enough value first. And so therefore you need to reassess how your funnel's working, would be my thoughts. Does that help? Cool. Now, in terms of if I want to just kind of handle that, how do you respond to that objection? If you really did still want to do that, you would just work on that. Our prices are always slightly different. They depend on what your outlook is. They can range from, I know someone that says they can range from £10 for a book or a £50 or 50 grand program. So I can't really tell you what the price would be, So you could use that objection if you really wanted to. But to be honest, I feel like it's telling you that you're not adding enough value in your pipeline. Cool. Hope that helps. Further questions, guys, or someone wants to unmute and ask a question.
Dawn's got her hand up, Richard.
Oh, sorry, Dawn. My fault. Go for it.
Hi. As you know, my work, sorry, other people don't, but Richard and I had a call. I write books of a very sensitive nature, human rights, social justice, and often social impact causes. And I'm listening to what you're saying, Richard, and I understand if you've got like something like graphic design, or you've got like and then this is not to be derogatory, you've got a product. I mean, Richard knows I'm releasing my coaching through a 7-week author course, which is why I'm here doing all of this. But for people to work with me personally, that's going to take some cojones, as we say in the masculine. I've been in Latin America, so you'll probably hear some Latino words coming out. But I'm finding this a very bro marketing, very sterile way, and it just, like, my whole body is like, no. What's your advice? Like, because this is just it.
The point being is, if you're launching a course, right? So you have a product. That's step number one. You definitely have a product. People can go onto your website, they can pay some money, they can buy the thing. So it's a product. And so and you've only want to get 3 high ticket clients a year. They're spending like
I can't, 30, my capacity, right?
So they're not going to come from an automated outreach. They might do, because remember, this is just like connecting with people. Hey, how's things? How you going, right? So that's a connecting piece. And then it's down to how that conversation goes is, going to be down to who's managing that for you. And it could still be you that's managing the responses from this. But when you think about trying to really churn a lead generation funnel to generate sales of your course, it could be simply like, hey, how's things? Have you thought about writing a book? Oh, you have? Great. Okay.
Yeah.
How far
I hear what you're saying. But again, it's like if I, with my profile, if I make that switch, I think what my question is how do we make that switch? Because my profile is me. And I know that in our call, you said I have to remove myself from that and then get other people to handle it. But if I do that, that damages so many relationships, and people are like, yeah, this is not Dawn, we're not engaging anymore. What's your advice? Because people are used to, I'm as like
I
Claire,
know, but
I'm as honest as they come. I am like, they call me the molecule shaker. There is a reason for that.
you got to work out what are you trying to do. You know, you don't have to do a lead generation funnel if you are not looking to do a lead generation funnel. You don't have to do it. There's no problem. You can go and be a public figure and use your profile to grow your awareness of yourself, and also put it from that way. There's no reason why you've got to do this. This is a way of generating on an automatic cycle leads and sales, and that's your decision if you're going to go down that road or if you don't want to go down the road. It's no like you have to do this to be successful. There's loads of case studies.
Oh no, that would just be quite arrogant, really.
Exactly. So the whole point is that that you don't have to do this. And remember, and when you're coming to a few of these sessions, I'm showing different, like we talk about LinkedIn pods here. And I always come with a caveat, you don't have to.
Yeah, you know what I feel about pods where people go, nice job, excellent post.
So the whole point of this is around generating, giving people different ways to do it. Some people choose that, some people aren't going to choose that. We're like a pick and mix. And maybe you just don't like this flavor of the pick and mix.
Could I use this on my business page?
No, because you can't do connection requests for business. So it's going to be done on a personal profile. You could have a salesperson that comes work for your business who could do this. Or you could just do this, you know, or you don't have to do this. It's down to you. The other flip side. So here's a real life example, guys. If you're struggling with this. So the cost of lead if is like under 100 quid, even less, right? And so this will generate a number of appointments for us a week and a number of sales for us a month, right? And that's a fantastic ROI. We're spending, 50 to sometimes 100 quid a day on Facebook ads, and it has a similar volume of sales as the LinkedIn outreach, but a fraction of the price to do this LinkedIn outreach. So when I'm looking at my portfolio of lead generation and sales and return on investment, this is a very good return on investment for us. And so having grown lots of businesses, I can, this is what I say with Dawn, I can remove myself from having to worry about all the small little bits that might not be slightly right, to be able to get the flow and the machine working. And so that's my bro way of looking at it. But I just think that's my flavor of business. I don't think that's particularly, I don't know if that is whichever way it is. That's my flavor of business. Other people are building out personal brands and they're doing great and they're building massive aware audiences and they're not doing this. And that could be someone else's way of doing it. So there's no right answer. It's just different ways of doing it. So cool. I hope that.
Thank you very much. Yeah, no, it's been helpful. Thank you.
Good. Right. So back into the room then, guys. I'm happy to stick around for another couple of questions. Just remember, I'm more than delighted to be able to help, and I'll definitely take Claire's question. I'm not sure how many of those sessions have gone already. I know that there's a number of people have booked in because I just got the pings on my phone. That's in the chat now to book in that LinkedIn profile audit with me. Looking forward to doing those with you guys and helping you through some of these questions that you might have around this, particularly like similar to what we were just having there. Claire, over to you.
Hello. First of all, I just want to say sorry for not showing my face, but I went for a run and I didn't quite have the time to shower and get ready. So that's why I'm not showing.
You're fine.
I'm not showing my face. All I wanted to say is I've done this for a few clients of mine, and I ran a test myself with something called Ludoku, I think it's called. And actually, I think you know, for some people it won't work. I guess depending on what your business is and who you're trying to target. Sales Nav is incredible, but what I will say is just be you. Um, so you know, sometimes I'll have pink hair. I'm not necessarily very stereotypical and don't fit in that box, but actually, so my messaging is very, very me. So I think it's really important that I know people are like, oh, it feels quite salesy, and I guess it can do. But if you're just being you, you could be you on a phone call, you could be you on an email, you can be you on a LinkedIn message, you could be you when you catch up with someone face to face. But as long as you're being you, I think, and you're being very authentic to yourself, actually, it's about building connections. And like there's someone said, you know, you can't go and get married on a first date. I can't remember who said that, something similar up in the chat. And actually it's really, really true. And I think if we take away that thought process that actually we're going to connect with this person because they're going to become a client, actually we're connecting with this person because we want to build a relationship. And actually it doesn't necessarily mean that in 2 weeks they're going to be a client. It could be in 2 years, but you've built that base and you've just been yourself. So I just wanted to put that bit in, if that was okay.
And that's bang on. I think that's such a great statement, because the whole point of this is you really want to just work upon actually who are you as well. And this is a really nice way of kind of going, well, actually, how do I approach conversations? What do I say? And so sometimes by thinking about, well, actually, how would I reach out to someone? What would I say? And by that's try it and nail it piece, doing it manually will then educate, actually, if you did want to, how to then actually absorb that authentic voice into an automated way of opening up those conversations. So yeah, thank you, Claire. Love that. Last comment for Eva. Welcome. I think you got the
Hello.
I think I saw in the chat that you're beaming in from the US, aren't you?
I am. I wake up early and I saw the message and I said, okay, this is interesting. I actually tried to join your school group and I got rejected. And then I got an email and I was so confused. I imagine it was unintentional, but I don't know. I'm very active there, so I thought I might look spammy. I don't know. But hello.
Try again. We'll get you in.
But I'm here. A friend recommended the group to me because I'm, I have interest in it, but where do I actually find info about, because I'm brand new to you. I literally just had interest in the school group and then I was rejected and I was like, all right, well, that's that. No worries, no big deal. I'm okay with putting myself out there. So sometimes I do get rejected and I just kind of smile about it and move on and I saw your message and I was like, oh, good. I'm still in this world. So
that's cool.
I'm wondering, where do I find, because I missed the first hour, and where do I find sort of like the basics about all of these things? Because my profile on LinkedIn is very old and I have all these connections from like 15 years ago when all I did was food.
Okay, so the best thing to do is to jump on to LinkedIn for Breakfast. Try again. We'll definitely get you in there
next week.
And,
all right, it'll be 3:45 for me.
Okay, and then you got the replay, so we'll send you the replay of this session as well. You can be able to get hold of, and we'll also point you towards a 5-day challenge that helps you to be able to generate outreach and campaigns and sort your profile out, etc. from there. We also have an all-star profile session where we've been able to help you to put together the best profile that you can. So look out for these type of campaigns. This is the stuff that we'll be sending out, and just jump into that group and we'll help you to be able to do that. So welcome.
It's kind of a wonder that I jumped on anyways, but I just got a good vibe from it and I was like, oh, I'm just going to jump on.
Okay, well, you are more than welcome. Well, look, that from your perspective, I do apologize, but that is the end of the session. So look, welcome everybody. Thank you all for playing full out today and for your questions and help and support. Thank you for everybody that's jumped onto a LinkedIn profile audit. I'm looking forward to going through your profiles. Finally, if you haven't quite, the link's there in the chat. Just click on that so it's up on a new tab. But we'll be closing the room now. So thank you all. It's been awesome. Thanks for all your input and questions. And I'll see you all on a strategy on a LinkedIn profile audit soon. All the best.
Thanks again, Richard. Cheers, mate.